Hello everyone, I'm teacher Winnie. Today we'll discuss on Physics SPM Trial 2022 for Terengganu paper for paper 2. So for first question is come from 5 topic chapter 6 on nuclear physics. On this 6.1 radioactive decay. Diagram 1 shows the reaction equation in a radioactive decay process that produces X particles. What is the meaning of radioactive decay? So normally in structured questions, part 1 is always asking you all regarding the knowledge part, whereby you need to define definition. So radioactive decay general idea means the nucleus is unstable. So they want to become stable. So when they want to become stable, what they do, they will emit radioactive emission. So how do you define radioactive decay? Is basically a process in which an unstable nucleus become more stable by emitting radioactive radiation. So these radioactive radiations is actually referred to alpha particles, beta particles, or gamma rays. Yeah. Next, part B. Based on diagram 1, what is the type of decay for the reaction? In order for you to know what is the decay referred to, you have to know what is the X. So as you all know, right, you have to have balance equation. Left side equals to right side. Okay, so left side 226, right side is 222 plus 4. Then you get 226 back on. Then similarly, here is 2. So what is actually 4, 2? For these nuclide notations, is actually referred to helium nucleus, not helium particles. So hence you get the idea. This is referred to helium nucleus, which is alpha particles. So if it is alpha particle, that means we call this as alpha decay. Then C, why does a radioactive substance decay? So radioactive substance decay is because of what? Due to they are unstable. So they want to achieve a more stable state. So that's why you can just say because they want to become more stable. So this is how you give the answer for these questions 1. Then proceed, we have questions 2. So for questions 2 is in from 4 gravitation on the first topic itself. We go through the questions together. Diagram 2 shows a 5 × 10 power 2 kg mass satellite orbiting the Earth with a radius of 8.3 × 10 power 8 meter. And the linear speed of the satellite is 6.96 × 10 power 3 meter per second. The force involved in the movement of satellites orbiting the Earth is the centripetal force. So what is the meaning of centripetal force? Okay, so this centripetal force not only have it in the universe. Basic idea is like if you were to swing any object, you have a string, then you swing a ball, example. So this ball will actually move in a circular path. So the reason behind it is because there is always a force that acting towards the center of the circle. Okay, so how do we define centripetal force? The force that constantly act towards the center of the circle, like this case, the satellite towards the center of the Earth, okay, and is perpendicular to its linear speed. So that means the speed is always perpendicular to this circle. So if let's say teacher draw in a more easy way, this is the direction of the object circulate. Okay, so we have object. Okay, so basically the centripetal force will act towards the center, and the object is always perpendicular. The speed is always perpendicular to the surface, like this way. Also, when they are here, then they are at tangent to the. So that's why it moves in a circular path. So the speed, basically, they are constant one. But due to the change in directions, that's why we say it is acceleration, because there is a changes in direction. B, explain how the satellite can remain motion in the circular orbit. Okay, so as you all know, this satellite is also being pulled towards the Earth. Due to this idea, right? That's why they keep on move in a circular path. So you can say a satellite orbit Earth when the speed is balanced by the pull of Earth gravity. Because if the speed is too high, this means the satellite will escape out of its orbit. But if too low, then it will drop to a lower orbit, or they will just fall towards the Earth. Okay, and the gravitational acceleration always acted toward the center of the Earth. It's just like we all human. What means you're on Earth, you're always being pulled downwards, right? You throw anything, it will just move back. Okay, but satellite that is in their orbits, so that's why they are being balanced. Okay, then we see the next part. Okay, next part is on calculation. Diagram 2 show a 5 times 10 power of 2. This is the information given in the diagram just now, but we need those info. Okay, so you can label whenever you want to do calculations, right? Okay, so this 5 times 10 power of 2 is referred to mass. And then this is the radius r, and this is speed. So first, they want you to calculate centripetal force. So you need to know what is the formula for the centripetal force. So generally, the formula is F equals to mv squared over R. Okay, so for your information, there will be a formula list in the exam questions normally on the first few pages. They indeed will give you chapter by chapter. So like this in chapter 3 gravitation. So they list down numbers of formula for you. But they didn't really specifically tell you that, this formula, this F is referred to centripetal force. So that's why it is good that every time when you all do revision, you study those topic by topic, you try to understand, okay, it's centripetal force. That means it's about mv squared over r. Okay, but you may not remember the square part of the r part. Then at least you know that it's referred to what, or else it's kind of difficult. So when they give you formula, but you do not know which one to apply. Okay, so now before you sub, you check. Is all the given number in SI unit? Yes, kg is SI unit, meter per second also. Okay, so we will put inside 5 times 10 power of 2. Then the V is 6.96 times 10 power of 3. Okay, divide by R, which is 8.3 times 10 power of 6. Okay, so you press calculator. Make sure the one that got square, all this you alert like my case, this one the V got square, just I didn't put in so again make sure you alert with all this lah. 6.96 times exponent 3. Okay, divide by. And then another thing is whenever you divide anything, you must put bracket. So end result you should have the centripetal force is 2918.1687. And then the unit for force is Newton. Okay, try to give more decimal point, okay? In general, you're supposed to have 2 to 4 decimal point lah. But then every time answer scheme or the way how they mark will be different, okay? So of course, more decimal point is more accurate. So I will encourage you all to use 4 decimal point. Then we proceed. Okay, now next question 3. Question 3 is from 5 on electronics regarding transistor idea. Diagram 3 shows a circuit with a transistor that acts as an automatic switch. Resistor X have high resistance in the dark and low resistance in the bright. What is the name of this resistor X? Okay, so as you can see, it's got a resistor symbol, which is a rectangle shape. And then you have the arrow at the side that point towards it. So this is refer to light dependent resistor. So always A is basic idea, so they ask you to name it. Okay, so you just write LDR in short, light dependent resistor. Yeah, then next, given the resistance of resistor X is 40 kilo ohm, When it is in the dark and the potential difference across TU is 1.2 volt. What is the potential difference across TU? So for this idea, it's actually this transistor in this circuit act as automatic switch. So this circuit is called automatic switch. Okay, so again, you put the info inside the diagram, and it will be easy for you to see. So basically, this is 10 kilo ohm. When this one becomes 40 kilo ohm, TU's the voltage across. So if I were to draw, then the voltage is in parallel to here. So I assume this one is V1, this one is V2. So they say what V1 is actually 1.2 volt. Okay, now you have to know what is the relationship between the main voltage with V1 and V2. So in this context, V equals to V1 plus V2. So what should be your V2? V2 will be 4.8 volt. So how do you get that? So you can write V across TU like that. 6 minus 1.2, 4.8 volt long. Next, calculate the current flow through the resistor X. Okay, as you all know, you all will always have a common formula to calculate current, which is what? V equals to I. So the current that flow in this circuit is actually what? It look like series, means these two resistors supposedly arranged in a series idea. So what is your total R? Your total R is basically we write aside R total is basically 10 kilo plus 40 kilo. So you supposed to have 50 kilo ohm. So you want to find I will be total V over total R. Right? So your total voltage is 6. And then your total resistance is 50,000. Kilo is 10 per 1,000. And then you can get the answer for the current, which is 1.2 times 10 power of -4 ampere. So we check is the answer correct or not. So this is how you get or actually for the answer scheme given over here, they didn't use the idea of total. They are using partly. So what does it mean by partly? Because they give you the resistance for this one 40 kilo ohm, right? And they also tell you the voltage here is 1.2. Okay, so the voltage across here and also the resistance across this part, right? So that's why you also can use I equals to V across TU over R for X. That means across this part. So that's why you will still get the same answer. So nothing wrong, okay? You can use either way. Even you want to use 10 ohm, kilo ohm, okay, with the voltage, just now you calculated 4.8, sorry, 4.8. For 40 ohm. Okay. Cannot. Sorry. Wait, let teacher thinks how they work for these questions. If you press calculator, actually this is not right. 14,000. But why they use 4.8? I think it's good that you all use back the one that teacher show. It's easy to get the concept. Yeah. Okay, the one that teacher used just now. Okay, then move on to the next questions. C. Explain why the light emitting diodes LED lights up when the resistor X is in the dark. Okay, when the resistor X is in the dark. Okay, so the idea for this automatic switch concept under transistor. Okay, if you want to get the idea easily, Okay, first, of course, you need to know what is the circuit. Also, this circuit is always named as base circuit. Then this one is called collector circuit. Based on the three leg of the transistor lah. This is the base, this is collector, emitter. So base emitter is called base circuit. Collector emitter is called collector circuit. So this is how they actually name them, right? So they say explain why the light emitting diode is lights up when resistor. Okay, so what you need to know is the transistor will be switched on when you have the base current, okay, which is high enough to cause the collector current to flow. So that's why the resistance here, basically, okay, on the base, right, they will affect what? The voltage across the base. Then the base voltage will across the current that flow, where we call it more specifically base current. So your idea behind it is all must be high enough. That means if your resistance is high enough, your base voltage will be high because they are directly proportional idea. Then when base voltage is high, then the current will be also high enough, and then hence transistor will switch on, collector current will flow. So this is the sequence. Y'all don't straight away jump into the idea like resistance and current, they're inversely proportional. That one is true for a conductor. Understand, if you have the wire, if the wire have high resistance, of course less current flow. But then this is a transistor circuit, so do not mix up this idea. So therefore, how you explain is during dark, what happened to the resistance just now? They got mentioned, right? The resistance is actually high. Yeah, so this is how you say, when it is dark, resistance is high. Then potential difference across this TU or resistor X is also increases. Hence, base current able to flow and turn on the transistor. Or you can have one more point. You say what? Collector current flow, then they light up the LED, also can. So you have any 2 points, you get 2 marks full already. Sometimes they can be in an essay part, 4 marks question for this part. Okay, questions 4. Diagram 4.1 shows the black body radiation curve. Okay, then mark with tick for the correct answer in the box provided. Black body are the ideal what of electromagnetic radiation. So basically they are both, they are also absorber or they are also radiator. So you tick in the correct box lah. Next, compare the total energy radiated on the left side of the peak to the right side. That means they want you to compare the energy on this area and also with this area. The energy, so because the energy can be get through the area under the graph. Okay, so basically the area over here is greater or this A1 more than A2. That's why the energy on the right side is greater lah, basically. Okay, so then what is your reason? Because the area under the graph on the right side is greater. But by right, actually, when you have this graph or you see this graph under quantum physics, the first topic itself, actually this graph is used to explain why we cannot explain the classical physics that light suppose is a wave. So by right, you suppose higher intensity, higher energy. Then the graph is supposedly keep on increasing. But then you have an idea that they drop over this region. Okay, this is come from the why quantum physics come in, where light actually also exist in a particle form. Okay, so there's not supposed to ask these questions lah. Right, it's like not really link or okay, next, under this topic, beginning of the subtopic, they also have this idea, you have this kinetic energy of photoelectron versus frequency of light graph. So diagram 4.2 show the graph of kinetic energy of photoelectron against the light frequency of 3 different matter, where W is Fock function and F0 is the threshold frequency. So based on the graph, what is the inference that can be made about W and F0? Okay, so basically this threshold frequency is the minimum frequency where photoelectric effect can occur. And then the work function itself, the meaning is the minimum work that needed or energy required to cause a photoelectric effect. So they actually have a directly proportional idea. Okay, as you can see, when your F0 is small, your work function also smaller. What? So you see F3 bigger already, right? That toward right side, and then this work function, the magnitude itself is also getting bigger. Yeah, so they're actually interdependent, and they are supposedly directly proportional for in between this work function and this threshold frequency, and they all depend on the type of matter, which means you have 1, 2, 3, right? So as you can see, one, so I use easy number so you have a better idea. Of course, this is not the actual value for the threshold frequency for all these three metals. Okay, so I assume 1, 2, 3 like here, right? This one also 10, 20, 30, but then you put it negative, but then this negative won't affect the idea behind it one. So for metal one, your minimum frequency needed is 1, okay? That's mean minimum energy needed is 10 joule, okay? But you see, for metal 3, right, there are 3. So this is the minimum frequency, and the energy that you needed is also increases. So that's why different metal, okay, they require different frequency or energy, so that they can cause a photoelectric effect to occurs. Okay, then next, the work function of a metal is 5.81 times 10 power negative 19 joule, and ultraviolet radiation with a frequency of 1 times 10 power 15 hertz is directed to the surface of the metal. Calculate the threshold frequency of the metal. Okay, so based on Einstein equation, right? Basically, we can relate work function with threshold frequency, which is H F naught. It's just like photon energy in general, E equals to HF. So work function is HF naught, okay? Then you're supposed to know the Planck constant, 6.63 times 10 power of negative. Or you can press your calculator, which is constant 0.6, right? Or you will get the value already one. But they will normally, if they don't give in the questions, that means they will give you in the formula list. You supposedly no need to memorize this value lah. Then the frequency itself is 1 times 10. Wait, Okay. Oh, sorry, you want to find it, a mistake. Okay, and then they give you the work. Yeah, sorry, they give you the work function, okay? So your work function is given, which is this 5.81 times 10 power negative 19, then F naught. So F naught is equals to 5.81 times 10 power negative 19 divided by what? 6.63 times 10 power negative 34. Okay, so you press calculator, you get the correct answer for the threshold frequency. Then moving on for part 2, right? They want to find maximum energy, kinetic energy of the photoelectron released from the metal. So what is the formula that you use? Basically, you have this in general the photon energy E by right, photon energy equals to work function plus kinetic energy. But now you make this as subject law, so you have kinetic energy maximum equals to energy minus work function, okay? And you change the E become HF. So this is referred to the Planck constant again. And then F is the frequency of light, frequency of light. That's why you get this from here. Then minus the work function. The work function is also given, but this one just now, yeah, in the questions, W. Then when you calculate, you will get 8.2 times 10 power of negative 20. I think it should be more accurate. We see the decimal point part. Teacher try to calculate also. Yeah, correct. So you get 8.2 times 10 power negative 20 based on the what over here lah. So this is how you link the Einstein equations under this quantum physics. Okay, next questions. Question 5 is comparison questions. So this is under combo wave topic under interference of wave. So diagram 5.1 show interference pattern produced by light color, yellow, blue, and green in a double slit Young experiment. Then 5.2 show the spectrum of blue light, yellow light, and red light in the electromagnetic wave spectrum. And electromagnetic wave consists of oscillations of electric field and magnetic field. So what is the direction of oscillation of electric field and magnetic field? Okay, so the definition for this electromagnetic wave is basically it consists of what? Those fields which is electric field and magnetic field which they are perpendicular to each other. So this is how you give the first answer, tick in the first box itself. Okay, then next B, using diagram 5.1, compare the distance between two consecutive fringes of the color. So means they want you to compare the idea of this what we call it X lah. This is called X, the distance between two consecutive fringes. So obviously red fringes have the longest, and then followed by yellow, followed by blue. So this is the first answer, right? You compare among the three color. Then the next point, you can actually just focus. If you were to just focus on the red one, then you check the X and X, and you focus on the yellow one. Yellow. Between X and X, So are they uniform? So basically another idea when you want to compare regarding the distance between the fringes, right? So you can say among the same color or the X, the fringes distance supposed to be constant. Yeah, so this is another point. So first point, remember you compare among three color, right? You say distance between two consecutive fringes for red is more than yellow, and then followed by blue. And then second point, distance between two consecutive fringes are constant. You no need to mention red, yellow, or blue also can. It means understood among the same color lah. C, using diagram 5.2, compare amplitude of wave of light color. Okay, so where do you get the idea of amplitude from this graph? So amplitude is basically this region. This is the amplitude. So is the height of the wave changes? No, right? So that's why the amplitude is constant. And then wavelength is the distance between two consecutive crest or trough or any 2 points which are on the same phase. Means this one, here to here. See now? So of course, across the graph, red will have longest wavelength. Notice or not? Then blue have the shortest wave length. Okay, so again, because they have three color, you can compare all the three color. Then you say red have the longest wavelength, followed by yellow, and then followed by the blue, like that. Okay, so say amplitude. So this is how you write the answer in your comparison. Next, D, based on your answer at B and C, state the relationship between wavelength and also the distance between the two consecutive fringes of color. Okay, so that's mean you see when your wavelength is bigger, your distance also what? Bigger, right? Yellow is intermediate, then this one, the smallest. Yeah, so same thing, you say their relationship is directly proportional. Or you can also use the term increase. When the wavelength increases, the distance between two consecutive fringes also increases. And actually, if you have the concept regarding this topic, we always relate all this lambda x, all this with an equation, correct? We have this lambda equals to ax over d. So indeed, the relationship between wavelength and x, they are directly proportional. Okay, but based on diagram, you also can form this conclusion as well lah. So we proceed. Then E1, referring to the diagram 5.2, what is the relationship between wavelength and frequency of the color which propagate with light speed? Okay, because we have this relationship of speed of light c is equals to f lambda, and this speed of light is basically constant because it's 3 times 10 power 8 is constant for all the electromagnetic wave. So when you rearrange, you will notice that frequency is c over lambda, and f and lambda, they are inversely proportional. That means the higher the frequency, the lower the wavelength. So this is how you give the answer, or you can use the term inversely proportional. That's why the wavelength is inversely proportional to the wave frequency. Okay, next is calculation. In the young double slit experiment, when green light, which has wavelength of 5 times 10 power negative 7 meter is used, distance between two consecutive fringes is 4 times 10 power negative 4 meter, and the experiment is repeated with light x. It's found that the distance between the fringes is 4.8 times 10 power negative 4 meter. Okay, so calculate the wavelength of light. So for this idea, you actually use the basic formula lambda equals to ax over d. So they are actually investigating the lambda and x idea. So if I were to rearrange, I would have lambda x equals to a over d. Now in the question itself, they just say they change what? They change the light source, and then they want to see what happened to x. So when you do this, that means a and d have to be what? Constant. A and d have to be constant. So basically, you can straight away use this idea, lambda 1 over x1 equals to lambda 2 over x2. Okay, so I assume the green light is lambda 1, and this one is x1. Then this is what? x2. Then they want you to find lambda 2, can? So I rearrange until lambda 2 is what? First, lambda 2 is basically lambda 1 over x1 times x2. Okay, then you sub accordingly. Lambda 1 is 5 times 10 power negative 7. And then x1 is 4 times 10 power negative 4. Then x2 is 4.8 times 10 power of negative 4. And press calculator. Make sure you press correctly. So finally, supposingly your answer is 6 times 10 power negative 7 meter. So I check. Is it true? Just say it's right now. Wait, I see. Okay, wait, teacher check. Did I press calculator wrongly or sometimes too fast, maybe a mistake. Let me try one more time. Exponent negative 4 times 5 times exponent, then divide by 4 times exponent negative 4. Yeah, so yes, the answer is this 6 and not 8. Okay, so since they are comparing the idea of this color, right? Since and then this is wrong, so I just don't show the answers, give me an answer lah. Okay, so you also supposed to know the sequence for the light wave. Okay, they will always have this relationship. What means red have the longest wavelength. You need to remember them in terms of the sequence for rainbow color. Alright, give birth in Vietnam. So red refer to red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. And this red have the longest wavelength and violet have the shortest wavelength. Then in this context, you are actually replace the green one with what? Or they didn't say, they just say X. Yeah, so basically we cannot, if they say, okay, replace with blue, all this also, you should know the answer is actually less than, suppose, but there are more than, that means it should be yellow or orange or red lah. Yeah, so now we proceed to next questions. Question 6. Okay, so question 6 and 5, they are at the similar format, which is what we call is comparison questions lah. So diagram 6.1 and 6.2 show a bar magnet is dropped into two different coils from the same height, Name the physical quantity measured by galvanometer. So the function of galvanometer is to measure current in general, or for this topic, because you induce the current, so that's why you can use the term induced current, but generally you write current also acceptable lah. Okay, move on. Based on both diagram, they want you to compare the strength of magnetic field of the bar magnet. So are they using more magnet? No, right? Or bigger? No. So basically, they're supposed to have the same strength lah. So the difference between these two diagrams is what? The number of turn of coil, which one have more? 6.2. So you will say number of turn of coil in 6.2 is more. Then if you look at the deflection of the galvanometer, the deflection for this one is a little bit only, but this one is some sort more, right? So same thing, you say the deflection of the galvanometer pointer in 6.2 is greater. So this is how you give your answer lah. Yeah, you can use a greater sign, smaller sign also, not a big deal. Okay. Then normally after they ask you to compare, they will always ask you to give relationship lah. Okay, so what is the relationship between number of turns and also the side of deflections of the galvanometer? Okay, of course they are directly proportional. Or you say the more the number of turns, then the more the deflections of the galvanometer, or you can use the term directly proportional. Then what is the relationship between number of turns with the rate of change of magnetic flux? That means how much you cut the field. Since you have more line, right, with the same magnetic field, if you to have more coil, okay, I show you the answer lah. Some sort means they're supposed to have this magnetic field, same thing lah. This one also must have the magnetic field. Okay, since you have more coil, so the cutting is more. That's why the rate of the cutting of magnetic flux is more. Okay, when you have more turns. So again, it is directly proportional. Okay, next on calculation part, diagram 6.3 show a simple transformer which is connected to an alternating current 12 volt 24 watt electric motor. Calculate the current flow in the secondary coil. Okay, they give you the primary voltage, secondary voltage, and then they also give you the output power, 24 watt, okay, 24 watt. This is output lah. So if you want to get the current in secondary, they give you power, they got voltage, you can actually use this formula, P equals to VI. So you rearrange I equals to P over V. So it will be 24 divided by 12. You get 2 ampere lah. Now, next, what will happen to the current that flow in the secondary coil is the voltage is being decreased to 6. So you can predict the idea, you now 12 becomes 6 volts, so it becomes 4 ampere, right? That's why you can just say the current increases. Okay, next question 7. Question 7 is on Form 4 topic under this light and optic 6.6 image formation by curved mirror. Okay, diagram 7 shows a man in front of a shaving mirror that attached on the wall of shower room at a hotel to be used by customer. Name the phenomenon involved in the formation of the mirror image. Okay, so mirror, they involve what phenomenon? Reflection, FLEC. Next, based on diagram 7, what is the characteristic of image formed by mirror? So you see, it seems like this man, his face become bigger already, correct? So bigger, another term under the characteristic of image that we commonly use is called magnified. So you can give this as answer. Other than that, is the face inverted already? No, right? Not the balik, right? So we also say this term as upright. So either one, you actually get 1 mark. Actually, there is one more characteristic. The image form is also supposedly virtual lah. So that's why either of this answer is acceptable. Just now teacher also give what? And why they say another? Let me check. They didn't give you in advance what is this. They supposedly says take the characteristic lah, because they didn't tell you in advance, or they just showed you, right? So I think yeah, it's supposed to be except one, magnify, and also upright. Upright. Next, explain how should you do to the object position U to produce an image as shown in diagram 7. Okay, so if you follow my class, my lesson, or whenever I taught this topic, okay, I will let student draw ray diagram, and then according to the position of object. So this is basically a concave mirror. Concave mirror. You also have convex mirror. So concave mirror, basically they will converge light ray. Okay. Yeah. So you need to have this focus point, and then you have this C center of curvature, or actually sometimes they also refer to double focal length lah. So generally, there are 6 positions of the object which produce different characteristics of the image form when you draw ray diagram. So I call this as case 1, where object less than focal length, object equals to focal length, object between F and 2F, object exactly at double focal length or center of curvature, object more than 2F, and one more idea is object is at infinity. So just give you some idea. The object distance, they always use U, use less than F like that. Then U equals F, okay? Then they will actually have the characteristic. What means after you draw the ray diagram, you will notice they have this characteristic. And for this context, right? Okay, I will say is actually boom, boom, rim, wrist, retreat. Okay, so it's like easy lah for you, like a rhythm like that. So, and I also name this as case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Case 1 and 2 seems to be same answer for the final characteristic of the image, but number 2, they have one more idea, is the image form is at infinity. So basically, this is referred to case 1, you know. That means how you say the object placed less than focal length. Object placed less than focal length. And then now you want this to be smaller. That means diminished case. If you want it to be diminished, that means where is your location of object? You see my blue arrowhead, it must be more than 2F, right? So then you say this object now have to more than double focal length, or more than radius of curvature, because the point on center of curvature, yeah, the distance is called radius of curvature, acceptable. So C. To ensure the mirror can be used by user easily, 3 mirrors KL and M are prepared. And table 7 show the characteristic of this 3 mirror. Then next, referring to the table 7, explain characteristic of the mirror in the shower room can be used easier based on the following aspect. Okay, so type of mirror, reason, okay, and then the mirror holder, and then reason. Okay, so this one is for you to use in the shower room. So normally adjustable or fixed better, or it cannot be adjust. Okay, adjustable better, right? Because you can move up, down, left, right. Okay, but we also need to see what type of mirror should be used. Okay, if plain mirror, that means your size will be the same all the while. It is a convex mirror, then your image is always appear to be diminished, right? So normally when you use the mirror, right, in the hotel, they use for makeup purposes, shaving. So you suppose want it to be magnified, understand or not? So you can see anything on your face easily. So is it preferable or you actually use concave mirror? Understand? So hence, you should choose L ma. So actually, again, similar like essay question for section B. This one, you know your choice, you actually get 3 marks. You say you choose L. Then the type of mirror concave, and then you say adjustable, but without giving reason. So again, now you think, well, why? You say concave, teacher say already, so your image can be magnified or produce larger image, same meaning. Then it's adjustable wise, so you can change the distance between the user and mirror and the height of the mirror. Okay, like example, you want it to higher or lower, also you easily adjust. Then lastly, you say mirror L. Okay, then we proceed to the next question. So for questions 8, the last structured question in section A, diagram 8 shows a man using an elastic spring during his arm exercise. When force F equals to Kx is applied, the spring stretch and return to its original position once the force is removed, where K is spring constant and X is extension of the spring. Name the physics law related with the above formula, right? So when force apply increase, okay, the spring extend even more. So the law that we name it is what? Hooke's law. We call them as Hooke's law. Make sure your spelling is correct lah. Once your spelling is wrong, that means 0 marks. Okay, moving on. The maximum the force can be applied to the elastic spring is 300 Newton, caused by the maximum extension is 10. So they want you to find spring constant. Just now they also show you this equation of F equals to Kx, where K is actually the spring constant. So K equals to F over X. Now, if you want to directly sub the value inside, no problem. This force is extension. Let's say you straight away write 310. But my concern is, what is your unit? Can you all tell, teacher? Yeah, so your unit supposedly, this is Newton, correct? This is cm. So your unit is Newton cm. But it is advisable, if possible, like in calculation in paper 2, most of the time, try to change everything in SI unit. Indeed, a Newton, no need to change. But centimeter, you suppose, can be changed to 0.1 meter. Let's say any student, you change to SI unit, then your K becomes 300 divided by 0.1, and then you will have what? 3,000 Newton per meter. Yeah, so nothing wrong. You can give this. So that's why your answer must always come with unit. Without unit, then it's considered wrong. So the answer scheme 1, you see, that's why there's 2 options here. Okay, move on. This part will be similar like section C essay questions. They want you to make some suggestion, modification. So suggest modification to the elastic spring when another one identical spring is provided so that it can be used for bigger force, and give reason of your answer. Okay, so in terms of the characteristic of the spring itself, they're asking about what? The thickness wire of the spring, okay, and then diameter coil of the spring. And lastly, how do you arrange that spring? Okay, so for the idea behind it, okay, you want to withstand a higher force. That means the spring constant have to be high. Whenever they say spring constant high, means the spring is considered very hard. Okay, or we normally use the correct term is stiff lah. They are stiffer. Stiffer, that means you need a large force that only is extend or compress. Okay, vice versa, if spring constant is low, that means easily for you to stretch, okay, or compress. Okay, so thicker wire will be higher spring constant or vice versa. So of course it should be thicker lor. Yeah, so first point you say thicker. Okay, then you can say bigger spring constant, or the wire, the spring is stronger. Then in terms of diameter of coil spring, okay, it means this idea of bigger or smaller. So generally, if the spring have a smaller diameter coil, right, they supposedly you need lesser force to stretch. You will use more force, then only it extend more. Okay, which means same meaning also higher spring constant if the diameter is smaller, so it's a bit smaller. Okay, so smaller extension. And lastly, what is meant by arrangement of spring? That means should you arrange your spring in series, one after another, or side by side? They call it parallel. So same thing. When you have the spring in parallel way, that means you increase the spring constant. So this idea is better lah. So we say you arrange the spring in what? Parallel reason, harder spring system or high spring constant, again because less extension. Okay, so next one is in essay question for questions 9, question 8. You have 2 questions, go through carefully, and then you can choose to answer either one, yeah. So diagram 9.1 show a glass of water cooled by using some ice cube, and this process involves the specific latent heat of fusion of ice. So what is the meaning of specific latent heat of fusion? So in general, the term latent heat itself means the hidden heat. How come they have this idea is because when you put a thermometer inside the drink, right, you will notice that there is no change in the reading, no change in temperature. Okay, during the process like melting, okay, boiling, all this. Okay, so because the energy absorbed is basically used to overcome the process of attraction between the particle. Okay, so the latent heat idea is used to change the state of the object and not to increase its temperature. Also, what is mean by latent heat of fusion? We have this formula also, Q equals to ml lah, L equals to Q over M. So teacher will say you start off with heat energy needed to what? Now in this state is ice to become liquid melt, right? Okay, heat needed to change 1 kg of substance from solid to liquid or vice versa without change in temperature. So this is the definition of latent heat of fusion. Okay, move on. Using the concept of specific latent heat, explain how ice cube can hold drink more effectively. Okay, so you can start by mention regarding the temperature first. So initially the ice cube have high temperature than the water. And then next thing, what means when ice melt, what happens? You absorb or release heat. You absorb the heat, right? So that's why you're causing the surrounding become low temperature. Yeah, so this is the idea that link to specific latent heat lah. See, the ice cube absorb heat. And then what happened? The ice cube change its state from solid to liquid, or you say the ice cube melt. You have this term also can. Okay, and the latent heat, the heat that absorbed is called latent heat lah. And what is the function of this heat used to break the bond or overcome the forces of attraction between the particles? Then you get 4 marks lah. And you can write in point form, yeah. Okay, next on calculation idea. The water in the glass in diagram 9 has a mass of 0.2 kg and have an initial temperature of 50 degrees Celsius. Some of the ice cubes have melted. And then you have this specific value. Calculate the heat absorbed by the ice cube, the mass of ice that have melted. What assumption you make on the above situation? Okay, so see what is given to you. The quantity that being given is what? The mass. So then this is the initial temperature. And some of the ice cube have melt. So okay, to calculate okay, the first idea you actually using Q equals to MC theta. So the mass okay, we see more info first. The change in temperature is 50 because I is initially 0 degrees Celsius. So 50 minus 0 is 50 lah. Go on. Why they use 0.11? Let me see. Think again, the answer scheme got mistake. That's why sometimes you all solve questions, right? You all have to alert. Yeah, basically they actually give some wrong idea already. So because the math given is actually 0.2. Yeah. But then I think final answer is same. Let me check. Yes. Also, yes, there's some in the wrong idea. So now correct already. Then next, the mass of ice cube that has melted. Okay. So you use the energy being absorbed here equals to ml, the latent heat formula, and rearrange m equals to 42,000 divided by 3.34 times 10 power of 5. Then you get 0.1257 kilogram. Then normally what assumption we give is there will be no heat lost to the surrounding or released to the surrounding lah. Yeah, so we finish the calculation part of Y mass. Then normally for essay question, you have this table where we call it as 10 marks questions. Table 9 show the characteristic of 4 refrigerants panel P, Q, R, and S that contain the coolant agents flowing through the condenser pipe for use in the refrigerator. Explain the suitability of each cooling panel featured for cooling the refrigerator quickly. Determine the most suitable cooling panel and give reasons for your choice. Okay, so this idea you must be careful because under heat topic you have the cooling agent for car radiator, all this. So they are work in a different ways slightly, okay? So don't assume every time you see like cooling agent, then they're supposed to have similar ideas. So you also must see what is the application. Also, this coolant agent now is under the for refrigerator. So the idea behind it, we want to absorb more heat. So we want to change the state of the object faster. Or this means in liquid form, we want it to quickly become gas. So you must have this idea. Okay, so let's see. Your specific latent heat of vaporization, should it be low or high? So if it is higher, that means the moment that change its state, right, that can basically absorb a large amount of heat, then to change state. Okay, so you want to absorb a large amount of heat or small? Large, right? So that's why it's supposed to be high. Okay, so this is but how you do, then you don't have this. Then next, should the boiling point of the cooling agent high or low? You want it to faster change its state or no? Faster, right? So it's supposed to be low as well. Then in terms of the pipe, okay, when you circulate the fridge, if you notice, they actually look like this way one, Okay, they normally coil so that they increase the surface area. Then they can absorb more heat. So coil is the idea. Then the specific capacity of the material, because you want to quickly lose heat to outside after the cooling agent circulate in this pipe. So by right, it should be lower so you can release heat faster and then you cool down the fridge faster. So the idea will be R, right? So here is the reason itself. So you say what? The coolant agent have high specific latent heat of vaporizations. Why? To absorb or release a large amount of heat during phase change. And then the coolant agent should have low boiling point, the ability to turn into gas easily when it is absorbed heat. Then shape of the condenser pipe should be coil, increase the surface area, and thermal conductivity of the condenser pipe should be high and release a lot of heat. And lastly, you say what? I choose R as the coolant agent as it had what? High specific latent heat of vaporization, high boiling point, and the condenser pipe is coiled and have high thermal conductivity. Yeah, so this is how you answer lah. Basically sorry, I just noticed a slight mistake. Because they are using the term more specific heat capacity. So this part is supposed to be the term specific capacity lah. So yeah. So we don't write this, because sometimes, yeah, teacher just straight away get it from the answer scheme. So by write this one, you should write what? You should write this low specific heat capacity of the pipe. Okay, and then you all need to mention is it the agent or the pipe? Also, you cannot just say coil, because sometimes you all do fast, or when teacher guide you all want you all to just straight away give answer. So bear in mind also when you write on the essay part, right? You always write full terms one. Don't write shortcut one words like that so you may lose marks lah because of that. Yeah, so we're done with questions 9. Now we proceed to question 10. Question 10 is under form 5 topic on this atmospheric pressure idea. So diagram 10 show a 14 barometer to be used to measure the atmospheric pressure. Okay, then what is the questions? What is the meaning of atmospheric pressure? Okay, so generally the idea of pressure all come from the basic general, which is force per unit area lah. But more specifically for atmospheric pressure is what? The force per unit area exerted against a surface by the weight of the air above the surface. Okay, against a surface by the weight of the air above the surface. Okay, then next, by referring the diagram 10, explain how the 14 barometer can be used to measure atmospheric pressure accurately. So basically in your syllabus, your textbook didn't really specifically ask or describe how the 14 barometer work, okay? But then because maybe sometimes they want to create new questions, all this, so they all basically ask you. But generally, a barometer, you can start with simple barometer. Then you have 14 barometer. So the difference is just that you have a more specific scale where we call it as vernier scale, which can measure this more accurately. Okay, so we look at the answer scheme, and then you may actually get the idea, right? So you will know how to answer in case got this type of questions. But rarely SPM will ask something that is more in-depth and not really in the textbook lah. So let's have a look how the answer look like. So flexible bag is raised up or lower down with the help of the screw, so that the pointer just touch the mercury level in the glass vessel. Okay, so this is what you do. And then positions of the mercury level in the barometer tube is noted with the help of the main scale and also the vernier scale. And metal scale with a vernier attach a mirror behind the top of the mercury column is to avoid in the parallax error when taking reading. And the barometer height is the sum of the vernier scale reading and the main scale. Also, basically, we measure the height, basic idea for barometer. Okay. So if you are on the sea level, exactly, by right, you're supposed to get this length, which is 76 cm. So if you basically say you measure the height, you're supposed to get 1 mark for that. But in the in detail one, this a bit hard to gain the marks, okay? But I say if you were to have this scale, then it's more accurate. So it should be another point as well. Okay, because unless you are really into this field, or else you can't really give the answer fully. Okay, then move on. The table, again, they are more focused on the characteristic of the barometer. So they say what? There are some components used in this barometer. Okay, and you are required to investigate the characteristic of the barometer to be used in 14 barometer and explain the suitability of each characteristic and determine the most effective barometer to be used to measure the atmospheric pressure and give reason of your choice. Okay, so this barometer they used to measure the atmospheric pressure. So they have this pointer as ivory or iron, and then the back okay, you always see which characteristic that more makes sense for you. Let's say you're not sure ivory or iron. It seems like I don't know what is ivory also. Okay, maybe then you see the second idea first one, like this one. the bag should be made by paper or leather, more makes sense. Leather, right? If you would to use paper, then it's easily tear off, right? So something is like not makes sense also, correct? So the reason here is so that when you find your final answer, you will be more towards the accurate one. Okay, then you see the extra measuring instrument is what? Thermometer. Okay, because temperature change also will affect the pressure ma. But hydrometer is more towards the buoyancy idea of float and sink, measure density. So really not linked. Okay, but since they also have both, so now you have to see the protecting tube of the material as well. So the protecting tube, you protect the things, you know. So should you use brass or glass? Glass is actually kind of fragile. So if you were to choose brass, then automatically you know this one should be ivory. Then if you choose X, if X is correct, you actually get 6 out of 10 marks already. So, but let's say like this question, if you ask teacher, I will think this question is harder than the Form 4 questions. So might as well you are more confident in the Form 4, then you choose question 9 instead of question 10 like that. So this is the idea behind. But if you would to have more than enough time, then you think I may choose correctly, go ahead, you can answer all, but make sure you have enough time. So always answer until question 11, then only you make your decision. Should you answer another extra questions or not, understand? Because sometimes if you greedy, after you finish doing question 10, you may not have enough time to question do 11, then you rugi because memang 9 and 10 you choose one only. So you check your time also, okay? Yeah, so again, let's look at the answer together. Yeah, indeed the answer, the choice is X. So the pointer is made by ivory. Why? Because it does not react with mercury and then it is durable. Leather bag, flexible and strong, easy to push the mercury. Then the protecting tube is brass, strong, and able it to be carried around easily without breaking it. Extra equipment is thermometer, allow the reading correction to be made when the temperature change. And then therefore, lastly, you say what? I choose X because it is ivory pointer, leather bag, brass protecting tube, and also extra equipment is thermometer. Okay, then they always will have 5 marks calculation questions. The atmospheric pressure at the sea level is 76 cm mercury, while the atmospheric pressure at the top of a mountain is 30 cm mercury. Then the density of the mercury is 1.36 times 10 power of 4 kilogram per meter cube. And the average density of the air is 1.3 kilogram per meter cube. Calculate the atmospheric pressure at the sea level in unit of millibar. So there is a few unit for pressure. So the one that we commonly use is actually Pascal. And this Pascal is also equivalent to Newton per meter square, the SI unit for pressure lah. And you can also have this cm mercury if you use a barometer, or you can have meter H2O when you are at water dam. Then another one is millibar lah. So all this is the unit. Okay, so if you have the unit in Pascal, right, if you were to change to this millibar and bar, basically you just need to divide by 100. Okay, divide by 100. So that means we have to change the 76 cm mercury into Pascal first. So how do you change cm mercury to Pascal? You actually use the liquid pressure formula, H rho G, where this H is the length in meter. So hence I will have 0.76. And mercury is the mercury liquid that you use, 1.36 times 10 power of 4. G is standard on 9.81. So you will get about this 10136.16 Pascal. And then change to millibar, you divide by 100, right? You just say. So it's about 1013.9616 millibar. Next, determine the height of the mountain. Okay, so to get this, now let me show the answer. you basically find the difference in the pressure between the sea level and also on the mountain top, right? So the difference in pressure will give you the height itself. Okay, so that's why you use 0.76 minus 0.3. Then this is the difference in pressure, and equals to H rho G. And the rho here, now careful, because the density they use in the mountain is air, not mercury, right? So you have 1.3, then time okay, both sides you use, okay, by right, more accurate, you're supposed to use 9.81, 9.81. But then for this question, both sides also got 9.81, so it won't affect it lah. So you remember cancel out. Okay, at the end, you will have the height of the mountain is 4,812.31 meter. Or you change to kilometer, then it's 4.1823 kilometer lah, by dividing 1,000. So we're done with questions 10. Okay, so last questions 11 is under the idea of electricity, on the idea of this serial and parallel circuit idea. So diagram 11.1 and diagram 11.2 show two electrical circuit containing two identical bulbs K and L connected in different type to a 1.5 dry cell. And the magnitude of the current flow is indicated by the reading of ammeter. First, what is the meaning of current? Current is generally the rate of flow of charge. That's mean when electron flow, then you produce current, correct? Okay, a lot of electron, we call it as charge lah. So the rate of flow of charge, okay? Next. Again, under question 11, you always have the comparison part, similar like question 5 and 6. So based on these two diagrams, compare the type of arrangement of the bulb, the brightness of the light bulb, and the magnitude of the current flow in the two electrical circuit. Then relate the type of arrangement of the bulbs to the magnitude of current flow through the circuit to make a deduction about relationship between the arrangement of the bulbs and the resulting effective resistance. Okay, so compare the arrangement. So as you can see, this is side by side. Side by side, we call it as series, right? Then one after another, you call it as parallel arrangement. So you get it already by saying so. Then the brightness, okay, the brightness they show you over here, like this one, only 3 lines, just more lines. So basically, the bulb in the parallel circuit or in diagram 11.2 is brighter, or they are brighter. Okay, then in terms of current, right, you look at this ammeter reading. So notice or not, this one showing the deflection is small. So the magnitude of current flow is greater in 11.2 also lah. Then lastly, they want you to relate and give a relationship, relate the type arrangement of bulb to the magnitude of the current flow through the circuit to make a deduction about the relationship between the arrangement of bulb and the resulting effective resistance. So of course, when the bulb is arranged in parallel, the effective resistance is lower. If they are lower, that means there will be more current, okay? So inversely proportional idea, okay? So this is how you write the answer, write in point form. So just now I briefly guide through already. So this is the proper way of writing it. Type of bulb arranged in diagram 11.1 is in series, while in diagram 11.2 is in parallel. The brightness of bulb in diagram 11.2 is more than the 11.1 or brighter lah, or we normally use the term brighter. Then the magnitude of current flow in diagram 11.2 is higher or greater. Then next point, you say when the arrangement of bulb is in parallel, the magnitude of current is higher. When the bulb in parallel, the effective resistance is lower. Okay, next is conceptual idea. So diagram 11.3 show another identical bulb connected in parallel with bulb K in diagram 11.1. Explain what happened to the ammeter reading and the voltmeter reading when the switch is closed now. So I also show back your what is the initial state. They say you need to connect. They say what? You connect one more bulb. So this is the initial way. Then they actually add on one more bulb. Understand? So it becomes this way. See? Yes. So that's why initially it's like that. But then after that, what happened? Get the idea? Okay, so that's why teacher show your 11.1 as well. Now, what is the effect of after adding the bulb in parallel with K? So for your understanding, assuming only all these bulb is identical, that means they will have same resistance. So I assume this is 1 ohm. This is also 1 ohm, can? Then this one is 1 ohm lah. This is also 1, is 1, okay? Now, but you must see how they arrange. So if I want to find this one, R total will be what? The effective resistance, easy, right? Series just plus, also 2 ohm. But then in this case, if I want to find the R total, means what? You need to find in parallel one first, right? 1 over 1 plus 1 over 1, then inverse, okay? Then you will have plus 1 also. You will have 1.5 ohm, agree? So you see, the resistance actually throughout the whole circuit become lower. When they are lower, they will affect the current one. The current will be increased. So that's why ammeter reading increases more than supposed. Then next, where you locate your voltmeter is across the bulb. Means initially this voltmeter also over here. Okay, then the idea behind is V equals to IR. When I is constant, right, we will see what is the relationship between voltmeter reading and also the resistance. They're supposed to be directly proportional. So when they are across one bulb, the resistance is 1. So, but then they are parallel, right? The resistance becomes 0.5. So they're lower already. The voltage also will be lower one. Okay. So voltmeter reading actually lesser than before. So this is how you give the points. You say what? The ammeter reading increases. Why? Because effective resistance in the circuit decrease. Then next, voltmeter reading decreases. I tell you, right, the relationship more because the effective resistance across the bulb K decreases. So the voltage across bulb K also decreases because you are connect across in parallel way. Yeah, so this is how you get the idea. So we proceed to the last part on question 11. Poor lighting in the classroom cause students not be able to study well. You are asked to modify the classroom and the lighting system of the classroom so that it is brighter, safer, and able to save electricity. State and explain the modification based on the following aspect. First, type of connection of lamp circuit. 2, color of the classroom wall. 3, type of lamp and color of light. Then lastly, additional component for safety. Now, even though they only give you 5 aspects, right? But because it is 10 marks, so you need to give more than 4 out of here. Okay, minimum 5. So this one type connection, memang you only give one idea. Color, only one idea. But they here say type of lamp and color of light. So you can give 2 ideas, agree? Then additional component relating to safety. But if you have idea, you can also give more. So for these open-ended questions, right? Last question for essay, you not only just give 5, expect 5 reasons. You can give more than 5. You have 7 or 8, go ahead if you are good one. Yeah, because they will not give you wrong unless you have 2 contrast answer. Like example, let's tell teacher, what do you think the classroom wall color? It should be bright, so you say you painted it with white, okay, so brighter, okay, but then suddenly you say you painted it with black, so black and white contrast, so both also not correct anymore, even though one of the answer bright supposed to be answer, because you are like asking me to choose for you. Get the idea? So this is called contrast. Okay. Okay, so what type of connection of the lamp circuit? What do you all think? Should you arrange it in series or parallel, right? So the reason simple only, if there is one bulb spoiled, then the other still working on, and then they basically are brighter one. Okay. Then type of lamp, you can say you use LED, more specific if you know, or you just say a high efficiency lamp, something like that. Color of light, again, a bright color, or not the warm, dark one. Additional component for safety, you can say attached with fuse, all this idea. Okay, so we go through the answer together. So you can say what the type of lamp connect in parallel. So when one bulb is broken, the other still working. Then next, color of classroom wall should be bright color like white color because it can act as a light reflector. Third, the type of lamp should be LED, low energy consumption. Then the color of light lamp should be white. White light can reflect all colors or more light are reflected. And lastly, the lighting system should have fuse so you can break the circuit if there's any excess current or okay, or like I say, if you want to have more idea, go ahead. Okay, so that in case one of the idea you are not writing so clear, so you can have another one or for to support. Even in reason also you can get more, give more than one reason if you can. So this is how you answer the questions. So teacher hope that you have a better understanding on the particular topic and how do you apply what you learn into the questions. Okay, so that's it for this Terengganu paper 2. Thank you everyone. See you again on the next paper. Bye bye.